Last night at Nato, Joe Biden has done something he's never done before.
I learned about kids jumping on my lap.
In an unprecedented move.
What?
He spoke for almost an hour.
Wow.
Took on questions of the world at large, why he's as sharp as a bowling ball,
A bullshit?
and why he's better than Trump for 24. I'm Jazz Berganzo on this. Then, as soon as the Adderall cocktail wore off, he completely forgot everything in the past hour. And then spoke about why chocolate is his favorite ice cream.
I'm a big kid now.
And it's what's next. Hey, happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jazz Berganzo. What's next? Your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today. Of course, TGIF as we go into the weekend. Well, sometimes you catch a glimpse or a glimmer or something that you've come across. You're like, you know what? I've never seen that before. You know, there are some people who have witnessed Haley's Comet. There are some people who said, you know what? I just saw Bigfoot. And then others who said, hey, you know what? Where were you where Joe Biden, spoke for almost an hour, taking on the most toughest questions of all time and coming out smelling like roses? Well, if it's the latter, you were lucky because you're never going to see it again. In an unprecedented move, Joe Biden at NATO conference across the other side of the ocean took on questions for almost an hour of the world at large, of why he's as sharp as a bowling ball and on why he's better than Trump, you know, because of Bidenomics. Well, that's very highly questionable for 24. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be fun. And here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. No words. These are just cut scenes of his highlights of why Joe Biden is number one. And I hear that he had his big boy pants on at this time. Well, we'll see about that. Cutscene number one.
Mr. President, your political future has hung over the NATO summit a little bit this week. Speaker Pelosi made a point of suggesting that your decision on whether to stay in the race was still open.
One, why is Pelosi ever involved in anything at this point? The old hag is beyond me.
George Clooney and a handful of lawmakers.
George Clooney. Really? I didn't know George Clooney was part of the administration. That's news to me. Wow, I missed that one in my memo.
Have called on you to step aside. Reuters is reporting tonight that UAW leadership is concerned about your ability to win.
UAW.
Uh-oh, the UAW, United Auto Workers. Uh-oh, the second most powerful union in the country behind the teachers. Yeah, they're not too happy with Joe either.
And just endorse me, but go ahead.
Thank you.
They had no choice. They weren't going to endorse Trump. So there you go.
Question for you is, how are you incorporating these developments into your decision to stay? And separately, what concerns do you have about Vice President Harris's ability to beat Donald Trump if she were at the top of the ticket?
I'm sorry. That was meant for my inside voice.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president.
Of course not. You're not going to pick Vice President Trump because Trump wasn't on the ticket. Kamala Harris was. But then again, he's full of Adderall. Just remember that. Or it's wearing off.
So I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
Ouch. Cutscene number 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. Presidency is the most straining job in the world, and it's 24/7. How can you say you'll be up for that next year, in 2 years, in 4 years, given the limits you've acknowledged that you have today?
Being that right now he is on between 10 and 4. That's peak hours. You're not getting him at 8 o'clock at night. You're not getting him at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. 10 to 4.
The limits I've acknowledged I have?
Now, long pause. Just saying. He could have been, I don't know, maybe thinking about his answers real hard before he opened his mouth. But then again, this is Joe we're talking here.
There's been reporting that you've acknowledged that you need to go to bed earlier and your evening around 8.
That's not true. Look, what I said was, Instead of my every day starting at 7 and going to bed at midnight, it'd be smarter for me to pace myself a little more. And I said, for example, the 8, 7, 6 stuff, instead of starting the fundraiser at 9 o'clock, start at 8 o'clock. People get to go home by 10 o'clock.
You know, like the Super Bowl. Instead of having the Super Bowl start at 6, 7 o'clock at night, let's start it at 4.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about. And if you looked at my schedule since I made that stupid mistake in the campaign, in the debate, I mean, my schedule has been full bore. I've done, where's Trump been? Riding around in his golf cart, filling out his scorecard before he hits the ball? I mean, look.
Oh, he was holding on to that one, and of course, wow. Oh, that's a zinger. Oh, that's going to hurt Trump really bad.
He's done virtually nothing. And I have, I don't know how many, don't hold me to it, roughly 20 major events. Some with thousands of people showing up.
Can we go to the videotape? Seriously, can we go to that wonderful bean footage? I've seen them. No, there's not. There's more people hanging out at a parking lot of Walmart than there are hanging out at Joe's house. Anyway.
And so I just think it's better. I always have an inclination, whether I was playing sports or doing politics, just to keep going, not stop. I just got to just pace myself a little more.
Now, for those who don't know, Joe DiMencia did play. He did play in many sports. He was a triathlete. He won Olympic gold medals. He took on Joe Frazier, and of course, he played for the '92 Dream Team. So,
pace myself. And the next debate, I'm not going to be traveling into 15 time zones a week before.
Oh, another
anyway,
debate? What?
That's what it was about.
What?
That's what it was about. And by the way, even with that, I love my staff, but they add things all the time. At the very end, I'm catching hell from my wife for that. Anyway.
Okay. Next up.
You earlier explained confidence in your vice president.
Yes.
If your team came back and showed you data that she would fare better against former President Donald Trump, would you reconsider your decision to stay in the race?
Hell no!
No, unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
Mr. President,
This ends tonight's press conference.
Oh, Joe robbed the crowd. He robbed the crowd. Uh-oh.
This concludes.
respectfully, earlier you misspoke in your opening answer. You referred to Vice President Harris as Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
This concludes tonight's press conference. Thank you, everybody.
In typical Joe fashion, can't answer, walks off. We go from that. This comes out of Breitbart. Biden, during rare press conference, I've been given a list of people to call on. President Joe DiMencia relied on lists supplied by his staff when calling on reporters during his first press conference in 8 months. His shocking announcement critically undermined his defense against accusations that his staff runs the White House, stage managing Biden, and limited his exposure on scripted events and meetings. With that, I'll take on your questions. I've been given a list of people to call on here, Biden said at the end of his prepared remarks, which he mumbled through despite reading a teleprompter. He continued to go down the list of reporters he has been provided, giving seemingly rehearsed answers, and nonetheless did not inspire confidence due to long pauses and several inaudible mumbles. Biden was over 45 minutes late to the press conference. Like I said, he might have been getting ice cream, despite delaying at least twice during the hour beforehand. I thought I was just going to be able to just go flying right by this because there was no words, nothing to read off or what have you. But yeah, I could not help but make comments during the clips. The fact of the matter is that this is a total desperation move. The safe face move. The fact of the matter is that his debate, if you want to call it that, one of the worst cluster debacles in the history of the presidency. To show, you know what? I'm still sharp. I'm still here. Trump, he's playing golf. He's not doing anything. I've had multiple press conferences. I've had multiple rallies. Thousands of people have showed up. Like I said, more people in a Walmart parking lot. So Trump is going to use this like a hammer. And rightly so. He shouldn't. Right now, this is not an election about policy. I've said this in the past. It's a revenge tour for Trump. But on top of it, Trump doesn't have to do anything except play the tape. That's all he has to do. All he has to do. And then make little comments and barbs. That's all he has to do. So if the Democrats think that this little press conference, almost an hour of rehearsed and mumbles, was going to get Joe out of this mess, yeah, no, it's not. It made him look weaker. And of course, Trump, it made him look stronger. And Donald Trump, oh, he's loving every minute of it. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll see you next time. Peace.